Hey everyone, Farm Sim Guy here, or well, Race Sim Guy actually, today because we are talking Project Motor Racing. Now, hot off the back of the announcement that Project Motor Racing will be coming in the autumn of this year, I got the opportunity when we were in Zurich a few weeks ago to sit down with Kevin Boland, who is the Chief Development Officer at Straight4 Studios, and ask him a few questions about the game. And basically the thing I took away from it was the passion and the hunger that the Straight4 team have got for wanting to develop an absolutely brilliant new game. And having driven it, I've got to say, I think it's got masses of potential. So, without further ado, let's jump in and let's have a listen to what Kevin had to say. I am here with Kevin Boland from Straight4 Studios. Kevin, would you like to tell everybody your job title and what you do for Straight4?
I'm Chief Development Officer or Chief Technology Officer, whichever you want to call it. I'm in charge of the development of the game and the engine.
Fantastic. Now, we've seen some brilliant stuff today. I am blown away from what we've seen. I know it's an alpha build, I know it's early on, but we're here specifically today to talk about the physics engine. Could you talk a little bit more about that and how you've integrated that with the Giants engine?
Yeah. Well, the physics engine started off as it's agnostic anyway, okay, and it's called Hadron. And it's a piece of love that you've seen Ben, a guy named AJ, Doug Armo. There's names, loads of people involved in it. The engine is back at first principles, so there's no pre-recorded of anything. It's not like the ISI engine, and it goes from the ground up. What's really important about our engine is that it runs at 720 hertz, so it does. And it's really important to understand that by running at 720 hertz, we can push right to the limit. Yeah. It doesn't run any less, it always runs at that because it has to. Because if you run it slower, when you go over that limit, it's too late by the time you get back. Which means that our input and everything else around it has to have that feedback. The Giants engine made it easier to integrate at the end because we got to the metal. Where we needed to stay high, we stayed high. So, we used scripting for certain gameplay things. But when we needed to get to the metal and say, we want a thread here, we want this memory here, we were there to do that. Other than that, it was an awful lot easier to integrate than, let's say, some other third-party engines that we were using. Usually we build our own. So working with the Giants guys, it was really nice because they're coders and game developers first, publishers second, so it made life an awful lot easier. They understood the pain points that we were going through, and if you know Stefan and Christian, they love to code and they love to get into the detail on everything, so you don't get to pull your wool over their eyes either.
And we talked about this earlier on, but the kind of vision for the game, it's the principles of racing, isn't it? It's going back to that thing that we all love about the ability to jump in cars and race cars and have fun with them, rather than, it's a simulator, yes, first and foremost, but it's a racing simulator, not a driving game, shall we say.
That's exactly it. You hear our competitors come around and say they're the car simulator. Great, they can be a car simulator. We're a racing simulator. Yeah. That's what we are. What you call it? Everyone can drive a car, right? Everyone thinks they can race a car, but it's like everything else. It takes a minute to learn, but a lifetime to master. And this game is accessible, so it is. You can get in, you can drive, you can have fun, and then you can decide to obsess. Yeah. You can get the balance, you can get, why am I hitting the curb like that? Why is it that when I hit the curb, the wheel I'm drifting too much, or am I getting too much oversteer? Do I need to change the gear ratio here? All of that is in our engine. As I says, the guys were there telling me about the car setups, and a little bit of me put my producer hat on and went, just set up the screen. And it's like, Kevin, we've got 70 plus cars for launch. I'm like, yeah. That's 70 different physics models built because they're different cars with different setups and different extremities. And, going, oh, wow, the detail, and even I get lost in it. Yeah. But what we're trying to achieve is that you go into it and you can go as deep as you want, or you can just stay on the outside. Yeah. And it's really important that everything in life like that, the more you put into it, the more you get out. And that's what I hope with people when they get this game. The more they put into it, the more they get out of it. Yeah. That's the best way I can describe it, I think.
That's brilliant. And I suppose the nice thing about that is that it opens up to a massive audience. You can jump into it and play it for an hour or so once a week if you want to, or you can, like you say, obsess, and it can become a real hobby.
So One of the big important things that I want to get to is that people that have, you know, a Logitech or a Thrustmaster base level wheel get to enjoy it as much as someone who spends €5,000 on their rig. Yeah. You know, someone who puts a D-box in there, they're putting more in. They should try to get, they should get more out, but that shouldn't mitigate from the people that just can't afford that. Yeah. One of the great things about when I wanted to work with Giants and when we started to work with Giants was that there's a real value proposition in everything they do. Yeah, there's no, you know, we're not doing an early access beta as a, you know, to get money. We don't, not that we don't need it. Like, everybody works and we all have, you know, we're all earning. Yeah. But the point being is that we want to have something of value to give to the world, and we want it to be ready when we give it to the world. Yeah. And that's why we've got the factory driver program, and we've got other initiatives that we're trying to push. It's like everything. As it says, I go and I play tennis with my daughter and I hit the ball back, but she knows how to put topspin on. Yeah. You know, I can drive karts. I thought I could drive karts, and then I went out with the lads and just got left behind, you know. I won't go in and set up, but I watched the guys there from, you know, one of your colleagues come along, and he turned off the traction control and he set the brake bias, and he was going around the corner without taking his foot off the accelerator, and I was just watching going, what did he know there? And then I had to sit with Johnny Herbert, and Johnny Herbert was telling me that that he was loving he actually drove the Audi that we're showing.
That's right, the Audi was his Le Mans winning car, actually, wasn't it? Yeah.
And he was like, I don't think it was his Le Mans. I think he drove, but I don't think he won. Right. He drove at Le Mans, but I don't think that was the car he won in. But then again, I could be wrong. Yeah. But he was saying that we've got everything right, except right after it, there's a bit where it lifts, but then the downforce bites. Yeah. And I was like, oh, is it right? And he goes, no, it feels great, but just you need to get that right. And I'm like, thank you. You know,
I mean, that level of feedback's incredible, right?
Yeah, exactly. I want to get that notepad. Yeah. So, yes, it's the other thing that we have in the game, which, you know, hardcore sim racers don't like to talk about, but I use it personally, okay, is I put on the racing line the first time I go into it. I put on the racing line. I actually sometimes put on the racing line that shows where the braking points are, and I will drive around the track to get to learn it, right? And I'm no shame in saying that's how I do it, because it teaches me. And, like, you know, when I play with my kids, they'll do a hot lap with one, and then I'll do a hot lap without it. And it is accessibility, and it is about the fact that, you know, well, these should be there. Some of these driving aids are there, and they're there. You can call them driving aids, or you can call them training aids. It depends on how you want to look at it. But they're important. You know, it is important, like, because we're going to get to a place where people won't get to feel these cars anymore. You know, in a few years' time, we'll all be in electric cars, and this will be nostalgia, and this is how we'll have this nostalgia. I hope it doesn't, but that's what it's coming to. Yeah.
Brilliant, Kevin. I appreciate you inviting me. It's been a fantastic event today. Loads more to come, I'm sure. But we will be, I'm sure, not the last time we speak to you.
I'm sure we'll talk to you soon. Gamescom and everything else. And hey, get in there and get some more racing done.
Let's do it. So there you go, guys. A little bit of one-on-one time there with Kevin. Really impressive to hear just the passion that goes into. These are guys that live and breathe sim racing and racing games. They have built some brilliant games in the past. I, for one, was just a huge advocate of Project Cars 2 when it was out. It was one of the most kind of advanced games when I was playing on console back then, and they brought that knowledge and brought that experience and brought their relationships with real-life racing drivers to the fore here. And honestly, I've had a drive in this today, and it is outstanding. We are in an early alpha of this, and already I can see the potential in this being huge. So there we go. Great to see, and loads more to come on this as well. So there you go. Very interesting chat with Kevin. In fact, the whole Straight4 team were really, really great guys. Very interesting, and you could really, really feel that passion. Loads of questions still unanswered. Loads of stuff they couldn't tell us on the day, and there's, I'm sure, lots and lots of information going to be coming out over the next few months. But for now, I guess the biggest compliment I can give Project Motor Racing is that after an hour of playing it, the next day, all I wanted to do was play it more. That has to be a good sign. The handling was fantastic. The drivability was fantastic. It is still in a very early alpha stage, so I'm excited to see what's coming down the line with us. Now, they did give us more information in the form of a fact sheet. I'm going to do that in a separate video because it takes a little bit more of a deep technical dive on things. It means we can talk around things a little bit more. So check that out. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Lots more content on Project Motor Racing to come on the Race Sim Guy channel, but also I'll be putting some stuff on the Farm Sim Guy channel too. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.